Bang, bang. What's going on, guys? You're tuned into another exciting edition of The Main Event on Talkin Hands. So, I'm your host, Preston, joined by my co host, Mr. Danny Betts. We're to break down this weekend's exciting main event featuring the return of Edgar Berlanga as he takes on Irish Padraig McCrory. Before we get into that fight, we love to recap the fights that were. No show last week, but there was a pretty interesting fight. Went to decision, actually split decision. Foster gets it done over Abraham Nova. Danny, what were your thoughts on that fight? Do you think the split decision was warranted? Did you think Nova edged it out, or Foster got the well-deserved win?
Yeah, so that fight pretty much kind of so I knew the line was kind of off. Money line was like
A
minus 11.
thousand,
Yeah,
yeah.
1100 and shit. I was like, damn. I'm on the Foster side, but that's why, bro. And I'm not saying that because Nova, one of the friends in the show interviewed him. He was one of my first interviews. Humble kid, cool as hell. He went in there to try to take it, take the fight to Foster. And earlier in that fight, I don't know what round it was exactly, but Foster hurt his hand. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. But he was doing pretty well anyways, and he was out boxing him. I do agree with the decision. Um, Foster came up clutch too in the end. I think it was the last round. He got a knockdown.
Yeah.
Uh, I scored it, like 116 for Foster, around there, 115 at worst, in my opinion. Because a lot of those later rounds, you could tell Nova was getting tired, and then when he smothered Foster, it was just a bunch of messy, like
Yeah.
stuff that's not gonna score. Even the commentary was like, you know what I mean. Shout out to everybody in the chat, Dixon, Andrew G. Um, but yeah, hey Dixon, I gotta go with my guy Loco, bro. I'm trying to fade what's his name? I forget his name. His opponent. I've been trying to fade him for a while since Contender Series. He's a little chinny. Loco is literally
Oh,
local.
UFC.
This
UFC,
guy is a
yeah.
killer. His striking is really good. I know it's a boxing show, but I'm gonna do a little breakdown for MMA this Saturday. So yeah, I love Loco in this spot. But yeah, I thought Foster was the well deserved winner for sure. No controversy at all in my opinion. And yeah, I mean he hurt his hand. I mean what else can you do really? But he did well and got the late. I was surprised he got the late knockdown too.
Yeah. I would have been in lockstep if we did do the show last week with the Foster by decision pick. It did definitely seem to be the most likely outcome. Nova will slow down, and Nova did get flatlined before, but Foster's in a huge heavy hitter, so
Yeah.
made total sense. And I thought Foster got the win.
Yeah,
And
that
yeah,
weight,
just
the weight was the big issue for me. Like that was at 126, and he used to drain himself. Nova used to drain himself down there.
yeah. So yeah, good win. And I always laugh when Nova fights because he has this little Nova
Mascot.
mascot there, going crazy, and it's always funny. Even his beard, he's
Yeah. Yeah,
marketable fighter.
yeah, he always puts it because Hurricane Maria for Puerto Rico, because he's Dominican, but he was born in Puerto Rico, and since Maria the hurricane hit Puerto Rico, all the athletes and baseball players used to dye their hair and stuff blonde. That's like respect and unity, so that's why he did his beard. But yeah, I respect him for it, bro.
Yeah, like we said, yeah, good performance by Foster. Foster moves on, and hopefully he gets another fairly big fight. Any other news we had was, I want to say it was announced. I know it was talked about Haney Garcia. I want to say that fight is now announced for April. Big fight there. There was talks with Romero and Garcia. Haney, I know who Haney was going to fight, but big fight, pay-per-view fight. So that's in April. And then the other thing I was just seeing on my Twitter was Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall going ballistic at the press conference. And it was pretty funny. Some of the comments were, if only you would do this in the fight, when you actually fight. So uh, they got to get some buzz for that fight because Taylor needs it. Taylor got murdered by Teofimo, and Catterall is Catterall. So anything else you saw like in the news or anything you'd like to add, Danny?
Shout out to Swig Bets in the chat. No, that's pretty much it. I mean, Rolly's gonna fight Pitbull. I'm trying to think. Yeah, like you said, Haney and Garcia. I know there's talks about my boy Sublime Matias fighting Liam Pyro, but I don't think that's official yet. But I think it's early in the summertime in Puerto Rico, so I think that's it. That's about it for fights that I've been seeing.
Yeah, and then today or yesterday, they're trying to get Ennis as the co-main event for Canelo.
That would be dope.
I don't know who exactly Canelo's fighting. If he's fighting,
We don't. He's supposed to say something this week or next week.
Yeah. So we're not too sure who he's fighting, but I'm sure it'll be at 168 and should be a good fight. So from that to the fight that is this week, like I said, we're talking about Mr. Edgar Berlanga. Current odds for Berlanga have him as a minus 500 favorite. Comeback on McCrory can get up to plus 350, kind of staying around plus 300. Props, fight goes to the decision, juiced minus 170. Berlanga KO plus 220. Berlanga decision, pretty much even money. All these odds are brought to you by our favorite book, mybookie.ag. If you could enter that promo code PUBSPORTS, 50% deposit bonus match credit debit, 100% Bitcoin. Use the Bitcoin up to $1,000. Danny, initial thoughts, leans, pick for Berlanga McCrory this Saturday in Orlando, Florida, where maybe Boston Nick could make the trip. But yeah, it's probably too far for him.
Yeah, it's about like a 3.5 hour trip or something like that. But yeah, bro. I know this is one of your favorite fighters in Berlanga. I'm being sarcastic because I know. Yeah. I mean, both of ours. You know, I love my Puerto Rican fighters. As myself, I'm Puerto Rican or whatever. But and I root for the kid. Like, you know, he's still young. He's only 26. We know everybody knows him for 16 fights in a row, knockout in the first round. That was crazy. All knockouts in the first round, 16 in a row. But ever since he stepped up in competition, everybody been seeing his flaws. He's been dropped before. The power doesn't carry. Things like that. Not the most technical boxer. Not the best footwork. So all his mistakes started coming out after he, you know, those knockouts or whatever. Slowly, he's been getting a little bit better. Things here and there. His last fight against Quigley, it was by decision too, but he dropped him like 4 times. Mm-hmm. We've seen Quigley get knocked out before. I think it was Demetrius Andre that knocked him out in like 2 rounds or some shit like that. There's a huge. I found out something crazy about this fight, but real quick, his opponent, McCrory, Irish guy. He's actually ranked in a lot, like, you know, WBA, WBC, which is crazy because I really didn't know about him. I know you didn't either. We were like, hold on, we got to do our research on this guy. He's fought a lot of guys, you know, regional scene, over there overseas. I think his last fight was against this dude called Woodle or Whittle or something like that.
Yeah, Woodle.
They actually hurt each other in that fight a couple times early in that fight. And McCrory doesn't have the biggest power. He's pretty basic everywhere. He tries to set up his right hand, his straight right. Shout out to Jacqueline in the chat. And that's the only shot he really has power in that I noticed. If he could counter you with that right hand, he could catch you, you know, maybe hurt you, but not the biggest power, not the most technical, not the most athletic. Like I said, pretty basic everywhere. Undefeated, 18-0. The thing with me is he's about to be 36. So we got like a 10-year age gap here, bro, and that's huge. When you got age gap like that, like 8+ years or more, the record is insane. Like for the younger fighter to win. I like Berlanga here. It's in Orlando, Florida. It's a second fight after leaving Top Rank. He got signed by Eddie Hearn, and the thing I found out was he switched his conditioning and training coach. He still has a trainer, but his conditioning and coach, and the guy who's doing that now for him, they used to call him Memo. His name's Angel Iredia. If you look up his name back in the day, he was, and I knew that name sounded familiar, so I looked it up. Back in the day, he was in a big controversy for. He used to be in track and field. So like Marion Jones, you remember her, the sprinter?
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, like early 2000s, she got popped. A lot of the people that he worked with got popped. He came from Mexico. His family, a lot of his family are doctors. His dad was like a chemist, pharmacist. So he got all his drugs and stuff from Mexico. When he went to the United States, he went to Texas A&M, and he was working with the track and field there. Found some connections, started helping out athletes and stuff like that. Athletes would come to him for the good stuff to get them over the hump and to be Olympians. I think the number was like 27 or 28 Olympians under his belt. It was something crazy. Like, and then they finally popped him, and he actually worked with the FBI and USADA to basically snitch on everybody else. And then he got into boxing. He worked with Felix. Recently, he worked with Felix Verdejo. And you probably remember that kid's name, Puerto Rican
Yeah,
cat.
not good
That's
for
in
him.
jail.
Yeah, not
That's
good
in
for him. Yeah.
right. So, and that was another thing. He had a lot of power, and some questions about him, and makes a lot of sense. Back in the day, he used to work with Marquez. When Marquez fought Pacquiao, that one time that he knocked him out, and people were
Mm-hmm.
questioning him, like, man, this guy looks like a beast now. What's going on? His body's transformed. And he's fought Jorge Arce. Like, all these questionable guys never got popped, but everybody kind of had that question about him. So I did my digging on Instagram. I looked up on Berlanga his last fight in the weigh-ins, right? And then his picture now completely different, bro. This dude's got rips here, like his abs and like the wings right here is crazy. Like Berlanga's in shape. I'm like,
Yeah.
either this guy, I'm not gonna, the past is the past. I don't know if he's still doing it in boxing, but come on, it's kind of, I'm trying to add here, or he's just great at his job. This kid did not look like that in his last fight. Like, there was rumors early in his career when he was getting the knockouts that he was on PEDs or whatever. But nah, I haven't seen this dude rip like that in a while. Like, I don't think ever. So my thing is, I was leaning knockout already. I love the knockout in this fight. Like, knockout plus 220. If you want to go the safe route, just in case, because we have seen Berlanga get dropped before. No distance is like plus 135 or something like that. Plus money too. But I like Berlanga knockout here. I think he's got to show out in Orlando here for Eddie Hearn in his second fight, and all the things I just told you about his new chemist. He's about to get in here and get a highlight reel and make some noise.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, Shout Dixon, Andrew, Swiggy, and Jacqueline. Right before the show, we kind of chatted a little bit. I think this McCrory guy stinks. I think I'm not saying it's a setup fight, obviously,
It's a
but
fight.
Berlanga should knock this guy out. Quigley took some hard shots. The issue I have with Berlanga, and we're going to see it, not this fight, depends on how quickly they want to accelerate his career. Once he fights a guy who can take his punch and walk him down, he's going to get stopped, I think, pretty badly. I don't think McCrory's the guy to do that. McCrory, the fights I saw, he was leaving his chin up and was swinging, and it was basically whoever drops first drops when he was getting the knockouts. And if he wasn't getting the knockouts, he was extending himself to a decision. I think Berlanga has the chin against this opponent to take those shots. And like Dan just said, if he's potentially, juicing, I think he will stop this guy to where I don't understand the line. The last time we did this, we had Munguia. Munguia was plus 400 or so to win by KO, and Munguia got the KO. I think Berlanga will get the KO. He's off 3 or 4 straight decisions, I want to say. No,
Yeah, five.
five
Five,
straight
yeah.
decisions. So he's due for the KO. And my big thing was I want to watch some McCrory tape. he didn't do anything that impressed me to get Berlanga off him. And if Berlanga can just tee off on a guy, he's gonna drop him.
Yeah.
And maybe, who knows? Maybe the ref will be quick to step in, or yeah,
Yep. That
who
too.
knows? Because I didn't understand. I had to look up this guy. I had to look up the fight because when it got announced, I'm like, oh yeah, he's fighting. Then I looked it up, looked into it, and yeah, to me, it's a perfect fight for Edgar Berlanga, and I think the line should only continue to go up.
Oh yeah, for sure. I actually think because at first I'm like when we were talking about it, I'm like, why? What was it? -400? I think it went up a little bit now, but I'm like, man, it's kind of weird. But I didn't know much about McCrory, and then I started digging. I'm like, this is kind of short. And then I started finding out other things. I'm like, no, I think it's a parlay piece in my opinion. Plus, McCrory tends to start, gassing after midway through the fight or whatever. He starts to slow down. So I think he catches him late, probably around like 8 or 9.
Yeah, it was just, and what I'll give Berlanga a little bit credit against Quigley was he was actually jabbing a little bit,
Yeah.
granted not a ton. At least he was showing some jab, and then obviously his big hooks. Once he gets the hook, uh, it's gonna be hard for the opponent to take those big heavy shots. And yeah, I love Berlanga here. Andrew G in the chat wants Berlanga in a parlay. Need to hear
Yep.
you guys first. And yeah, it makes total sense to me. I think it's a nice, easy setup fight, hopefully for a bigger fight down the road. 168 stacked. Obviously, he's not going to fight Canelo or anything because that makes zero sense for him. But
Yeah, that's not happening, bro.
yeah, but there's big fights. Benavidez is still out there. The Charlos, if Charlo wants to get back in the ring anytime soon. Danny, anything else? I didn't really look too much into the undercard. I know
Um,
this guy Andy Cruz is a pretty hot
yep,
prospect,
yep.
but he's obviously a huge favorite as well. So,
Um,
anything else?
yeah, especially him, Andy Cruz, man. He's another. Put it this way, they're hyping him up. He's a big time Olympian, gold medalist and stuff like that, like Lomachenko. So they're comparing him and Lomachenko like projection wise. So he's already doing his first fight was already 10 rounds. It's like he jumped right in. So he had a knockout his last fight. This one though, the knockout it's -160. But he's fighting this Mexican dude that's pretty good. I was looking at his fights. He fought, I think his first name is Angel, but Angel Ferreira. And Ferreira could punch, and he's good. And he went to a split decision. And I never seen this Mexican get dropped or anything, so I like the points. I actually want to wait a little bit because I noticed is that +170 decision for Andy Cruz, but I noticed it's going up a little bit. So I might want to wait till tomorrow to see if I could get like 180, 190, and then I'll hit it. If it goes down 160, I'll just hit it right there. But yeah, and in the morning there's a Japanese card. My boy Junto Nakatani had knockout of the year last year against Maloney in the last round. It was crazy. It was bad, bro. Like they should have stopped that fight the round before when he got dropped multiple times, but. I really like that kid. He went up weight class, and he's actually fighting this kid that I actually know a lot. I know I talked to you about it, P. My one of my best friends fought him, Alexander Santiago. Santiago fought Nonito Donaire. I think it was in the Jake Paul card, or I don't know, but he beat him, and now he's getting a fight with Junto Nakatani. Again, they think Nakatani's gonna knock this kid out. I'll tell you, this Mexican ain't no joke. I think that he's gonna. I like Junto parlay piece, but it's like -800.
Yeah,
Not the best line, or whatever. But I like points again. Santiago is no joke, tough as nails. I think this is gonna be closer than the odds indicate, but I definitely do think Nakatani is gonna win because I think he's just more skillful and more, overall better. But that's like +195, I think it is for decision for Nakatani.
decision.
Yeah, and that's about it. The other two I was looking at too. I think his first name is Takama Inoue or whatever.
Yeah,
And by decision, but I haven't dug into their opponents or like that yet, so I gotta see.
Yeah, I really just looked into the Berlanga fight, and then the Inoue fight. I know that's a pretty big one. So, but yeah, I mean that really should do it for us. Next week we have the return of Jake Paul. It's co-main event to the Amanda Serrano fight, and then the guy, what's his name, Louis Lopez. He
Oh,
fights
Luis
kind
Alberto
of,
Lopez. Yeah, he's
yeah, he
fine.
kind of fights pretty,
Yeah,
wild.
crazy angles. Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be a good one. So we'll definitely be back for those next week. As it says on the bottom, scrolling down, if you guys could join the Weeby Pub and Gold members, $9.99 a month each week. We do horse races twice a week. If you finish first in the horse races, you get $50. So you win one horse race, that pays for 5 months of your gold membership. So if you guys could, that would be greatly appreciated. Prize picks, promo code PUBSPORTS. 50% deposit bonus, or 100% match up to $100 on prize picks. And yeah, the MyBookie, which I already did earlier. Make sure to join the guys this week. UFC Mexico, UFC Mexico City, whichever you would like to call it. Exciting main event there. Brandon Moreno taking Brandon Royval, and the return of Yair Rodriguez, Brian Ortega. So it should be exciting fights there. 6 p.m. card. Join the fellas for that. Danny, any closing words or statements you got?
No, we'll talk about the best bet. Best bet for me. Oh, it's close. I hate to say it, honestly, but I think I'm going Berlanga by knockout, man. I'm going Berlanga knockout. Definitely gonna bet it. Plus 220 on FanDuel. Real Deal Prime. Wrestling Rules. I will say this, and I'm pretty sure P, you're gonna agree with me. Berlanga somehow slips on a banana peel or some shit in this one. I'm done. Like if you lose to this guy,
Oh, he can't. Yeah, he can't lose this fight. Yeah.
and you're on the secret juice, in my opinion, I'm just done with him. So, but I like Berlanga by knockout, and like I said, the other ones too, Nakatani by decision and Andy Cruz by decision.
Yeah, I'm right there with you with Berlanga knockout. I just don't think there's going to be much resistance from
Yeah.
McCrory, because Quigley actually did hit him and kind of wobbled him a couple times. I mean, the competition, this McCrory guy, he's fighting
Nobody,
club
bro.
fighters, like pretty bad. And Berlanga, he's not a superstar, but yeah, you gotta show out for this one, because it is that's a main event fight. So hopefully he gets a knockout. Berlanga KO plus 220 makes all the sense in the world for me. We'll join you guys next week as we preview the Jake Paul fight, Amanda Serrano.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. I'm actually flying to on Wednesday. I'm flying out to Tampa because I'm gonna go over those Wednesday night fights, Pro Box TV, on YouTube. So I'll probably be breaking that card down, or at least putting it on my Twitter, my bets.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll touch the fight as well. And yeah, we will see you guys next week. As always, this was the main event. Talkin Hands. See you guys.